So please welcome to the stage Dawson from Discover, Peyton Duke from UCHealth, Daniella Malave from Chipotle Mexican Grill, and Nicholas Marshall from WM. All right, y'all ready?
Let's do this.
Okay.
All
right.
Let's go.
So Mary Poppins once told me, let's start from the very beginning, because it's a very good place to start. So let's do that.
Alrighty.
So how'd you start your education journey, and what has that done for you so far? Let's give us the basics. And Daniella, if you want to start.
Hello, my name is Daniella. I work for Chipotle Mexican Grill as a field recruiting analyst. I've been with the company for 7 years now. Worked my way up from crew member all the way up to management, managed my own restaurant in New Jersey, and eventually got into the corporate role of recruiting. And loving it, loving what I'm doing, loving working with people as always, and just super happy to be here as well. So throughout my journey, I was able to take advantage of the amazing industry-leading benefits that we do have at Chipotle Mexican Grill. And one of those partnerships that we do have is with Guild as well, and Guild is the best. Not just saying that because y'all brought me here, but it's been the best so far, and the journey has been wonderful. Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Thank
Louis?
you.
All right, I'm Louis. I'm about 10 years into my journey with Discover Financial Services. I have a very love-hate relationship with getting my education. I started off in the military, young age, so you got that free education. But of course, being just that young, I messed it up, a lot of opportunities, and just never had that focus to go to school. So you move forward a few years, and I say, you know what, I'm going to try this again. This time it'll be on my dime, so I'm going to take it serious. I did not, and of course, it fell away again, another opportunity, and debt just kind of piling up. So then life continues on. I get married, have kids, divorce, take on the kids full time. And it's like, now I have to really set this example if I want them to do more than what I've already done. So with Discover, the opportunity came about that I could actually take these classes, I could get this education, and computer and network security, something that I was always interested in, and I had already kind of steered my life towards that path, so it was like, this is perfect opportunity. And just with the company and with Guild, they made it very smooth for me to be able to take on those classes, take on those responsibilities, continue to live that day-to-day life of being a dad and being a student and working a job. And eventually I look up and now I'm doing the master's class because I have no clue why I would put myself through that, but that's what I'm doing.
My name is Peyton Duke, and I am currently a phlebotomist. If you don't know what that is, I draw blood for a living with UCHealth. And I started my healthcare career when I was 17 as a CNA, and I did that program through my high school. That then led me on to Illinois. I went to college there to pursue a 4-year bachelor's degree in nursing. Dream since I was little. COVID kind of ruined a lot for everyone, and that was the one thing that it kind of hit me hard on. I ended up moving home, and I went to EMT school. Got a scholarship on my own for that, and figured out how to make that work with myself. Started working for UCHealth. I was a CNA prior to my position with UCHealth, and I did front desk work. They call it a patient access specialist. So I did registration, billing, kind of all the works of the front desk, more customer service than clinical work. And that kind of led me to the point of, as David had mentioned in the previous panel, of kind of burnout with all of it and needed to find my love for healthcare again. So saw that Guild was partnered with UCHealth and that I could do a phlebotomy degree. And I have a long history, medical history with having to have my blood drawn. And I was like, let's make it my turn to be able to do that for other people. So that is where I am at today.
First of all, I want to say thank God for all us being here. We made it here safely. My name is Nicholas Marshall. I'm with Waste Management, and I got my start from being locked up. That's how I got my CDL. Didn't know where I was going. Graduated high school with a 2.7 GPA. Life was crazy. Where I'm from, guys like me don't get a chance to go to college. Or it's not put in, from the family, it's not put with us to go to college. And I went to the oil field for a while and got tired of the hustle and bustle of the oil field. Ran into a company called Waste Management. At first, it took me 2 months to get on. Then I called them, and I told them, if y'all ain't gonna hire me, tell me something. You know, McDonald's hiring every day. And so I went on, and they finally said, you know what, I'm gonna put you in with Mr. Brano. I went, did the interview. They hired me right then, and went home, told my family about it. They were happy for me. Didn't know where I was going in life. Still, at this moment right now, it's still so surreal. But when I got passed over for a position, Gil was offered to me by my supervisor. I took the position. I took the education experience. And now, I'm sitting on stage talking to y'all.
All right, so next we're going to talk about how you made that leap, what made you choose to make that leap. I'm going to start with you, Nicholas, but before, I have a special question just for you.
Yes, sir.
Left field here, before we get to that. You mentioned left high school, 2.7 GPA. You mentioned people like you aren't meant to go to college. What's your college GPA right now?
I'm at a 4.0.
All right. So what made you take the leap?
You know, I'm a big dude. Health plays a big part in what I do. I climb in and out of trucks all day. I move toilets, I do things, and after a while, I get a talking to from my body, my knees. Mm-hmm. My knees say, you ain't gonna be able to do this the rest of your life, man. You love the job, but you ain't gonna be able to climb in and out these trucks for the rest of your life. You're gonna have to do something different. So when I went for a position at the job, I didn't get it. I was all right though, you know. And my health basically told me sign up for something else, and I did, and I went for it, man. And yeah, if you listen to your body will talk to you. It'll actually help you work smart, not hard. So, you know, that was my leap, listening to my body and making sure I'm gonna be around for my wife, my children, and my grandbaby. So that was my leap.
Love it. Oh, love it. And Peyton, you mentioned how you thought you'd lost your passion for healthcare. What was your leap? What pushed you back in education?
So I know David touched on this in the last panel, but I mean, healthcare heroes, that's what we heard throughout the beginning of COVID. And I was in nursing school and I was like, yeah, like, that's what I want to do. I've known it for a while, like, keep pushing, like, we'll get through this. With the COVID shutdown and everything, had to move back home, and, you know, nobody here would take my credits. I actually live here. And I was just super defeated, you know, and I was working front desk, which customer service and healthcare, what it started to turn into, it was weighing on me. And I was like, I gotta do something else. I gotta switch this up. And my passion when I was a CNA was just like, you treat all those patients like they're your own family. And that's the love and desire that I had for healthcare, and that's what brought me into it. I just knew I needed to look for some resource to get back onto the clinical side, to be able to find my passion and my love for caring for people, for providing for them, being that loved one when the loved ones aren't there for them. And I was like, you know, I don't think CNA is the work that I want to go back to. It's a hard job, and I give credit to anybody that can take up that work. And I was like, you know, I get my blood drawn all the time. Like, I see it from a patient standpoint. I've seen the good and the bad of healthcare as a patient. And I was like, I want to be one of the good ones. You know, I want to be one of the ones that they leave my office, they leave my room, and they're like, dang, she made an impact on me. And so I saw that there was an opportunity to get back into the clinical side, and also the financial burden was a big deal. I'm still paying for a college degree that I do not have. And that's tough, trying to get back into school when you're still paying for something that you have nothing to show for. So definitely the partnership with Guild made it just, yep, absolutely. No questions asked, let's do it. And I have been drawing blood as a phlebotomist for 4 months now.
Hey.
Yeah.
So I've heard a couple times, like Peyton, you just said, so Gil came along, I'm gonna do it, right? Lewis, you mentioned before, like because of all these resources, it's smooth. It's not smooth, right? It's not smooth. I want to talk about some of the challenges. What's been hard as an adult, right, that's working, that has more responsibilities? What's been hard for all you all? Maybe Daniella, if you want to start.
So when I began my education, I was, I guess you could say, of normal age to jump into college. And the only thing that was different for me versus people, my age, my peers that were going into college was they pretty much had tuition set for them. They had someone to take care of them. They had scholarships. They were all figured out. They had a passion. They had a route. I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do. So when Guild came along, I said, this does sound kind of, perfect. And for someone who didn't have my heart set on, this specific school and this institution and this degree, it was something perfect that, laid itself out for me, and the opportunity was there. And during that time, I was living with my parents, and they took very good care of me. So something that I always wanted to do was when I got to college, I decided, this is mine. I'm going to take care of this. I got this covered. I want to be able to have something that I'm proud of and that I can become more independent and take ownership of. So I took ownership of my education, and I partnered with Guild, and they really helped me through that process. And something that was very challenging was, at that time, I was managing my own restaurant full-time. I was going to school full-time, and I was fairly new to online education as well. So juggling all of that was something that I didn't see a lot of other people doing. And those struggles of waking up every day, 8 a.m., let's go to Starbucks, let's sit down and focus, do all my homework in the morning, nighttime, we got to close up the store. So those are my days. Those were my days when other people were out in universities and going to parties and making friends, and I made a lot of friends. Made a lot of friends at Chipotle. Met my fiance at Chipotle, but no, really, it was a difficult process doing both full time, and that's not something that I experienced, my peers doing. But I'm really glad that I was able to do it with the flexibility that Guild offers. It was great. It was hard. It was great.
And Lewis, you were juggling a lot during this time.
Yeah, so I mentioned with my 2 previous failed attempts at going to school and getting married and divorced, taking on my kids full time, I had a lot of obstacles. I had a lot of roadblocks. Some of them were I put upon myself, and some were just life happening. And one of the biggest issues or problems I had in my failed attempts were companies not understanding, or honestly not even caring about a work-life school balance. Like that's not their concern. If you have that outside of work, you figure it out. And one of the biggest helps I had with Discover, with Guild, is that they're reaching out, they're trying to find avenues for you to overcome whatever those hurdles are. And especially with Discover, they're constantly asking about my work-life balance, and once they're aware of my school, within the work-life school balance, and what can we do to help you in this path moving forward. They were genuinely invested in me getting past these hurdles. So, and then obviously with kids, that's a whole nother hurdle in and of itself. Right. And they're going to take up a very large portion of your time, and you're not going to put them to the back burner. You're going to make sure that you handle what you need for them first, and then everything else kind of falls into place afterwards. So it was a lot of different hurdles, but working with family, working with friends, working with my company, I was able to find ways to get over those hurdles.
Okay. And one thing you'd mentioned previously, you were talking about coworker support and being able to lean there. Would you mind talking a little bit more about that?
Yes. So the relationship that we had at Chipotle in the restaurant is something that I wish I could explain to everybody. There's just something about working in the service industry, and you create just such a strong bond with the people around you. And for me, when I was in my restaurant, I was always encouraging those around me to do what I'm doing. Go to school, let's take advantage of Guild. Let's go to Starbucks together in the morning. Let's do it. And let's make this game plan. So I actually was able to recruit some of my coworkers along with me to assist through the education process. And there were days where we would spend hours at Starbucks doing our homework, doing work together. At nighttime, we would close up the store. After, we're in the dining room still doing homework. We got a test due at midnight, and we're gonna get it done. So that was a lot of the relationships that I made there were, they were supportive. It was super supportive through Guild. But just like Lewis said, we had coaches through Guild, and shout out to Linnea. She was wonderful. So we had a lot of support, coworker support, Guild support. It really helped the process run smoothly.
Support, so big. Support, so big. The next question, anyone feel free to answer this one. And it's a story I remember we were talking about yesterday. I want to call you Big Nip. Nicholas, sorry.
It's all right, brother.
Nicknames. But yesterday you were talking about how you get home, like you have these hard shifts, you get home Friday night, you got biology, like essay, 4 or 5 pages you got to write. You don't feel like doing it, but it gets done. But do you ever, any of you ever have those moments where you say, nah, I'm done, I'm giving up, but then you get over it? How does that happen? So do you have them, and how do you get over them?
I just had that moment.
Just now?
When I leave here, I got 6 assignments to turn in. When I leave here, but guess what? It's all right. That's my future. I got everything to gain, nothing to lose. So I'm gonna go for it. And when you done been at work and done 10 to 12 hours, you don't want to come home and then you got a pile of bills right here: light, gas, water, mortgage, the children. School lunches ain't free no more. So, and then you got all of these assignments you got to do too. Somewhere in your mind, you got to say, look, if I'm gonna be that route manager that I wanted to be, I'm gonna rephrase that part. I don't want to be the route manager no more. I want to be the boss. So I'm going for the boss. So this is part of being a boss. I got to finish this to get to the boss standpoint. So regardless of the fact of how you feel, if you want that reward, you got to fight for it. That's the only way you're gonna get it. Giving up is not an option. Because if we succeed, the family succeed, we all succeed.
I would say kind of, as I said in the past, like that hardship of financial burden. That was honestly the biggest thing for me. We just got engaged. We're trying to buy a house. I'm still paying for that degree. I mean, I'm 22 years old. That's a lot of money. And it's hard to make that amount of money to kind of compensate for the education that you're trying to get. So, I mean, when they were like full tuition, I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, that's a joke. There's no way. Nothing's free in life. No, everything. Like, they had different options: full tuition, partial tuition, tuition reimbursement was something that UCHealth had done previously. And just kind of mind blown at the fact, you don't really believe that nothing in life is free anymore. That helped me take that leap, because I think the biggest thing that was holding me back, or the hardship of, do I want to go back to school, was that financial burden for me.
So each one of you, either before this or on stage here, have mentioned something about your employer and the support they provided. You, when Tamla came off the stage earlier, Nicholas, you were like, she brought Guild to Waste Management. Like, I gotta talk to her, right? You were talking about how you had to be at the panel that David is on, right? When you mentioned Discover and how much support they provided. Every time you say Chipotle, you turn into Lizzo, and your hair gets turned back. How has this educational experience changed your view of your employer?
Oh, wow. Thanks to Miss Tamara. Hey, I didn't see this. I never thought in a million years I'd be going to college. She set up a program for people like me, no matter what color, race, what size, whatever. She set it up for us to do it. It just so happened I work for a great company, Waste Management. So it was set up. It's like they knew I was coming. You know, when it's a plan from the big man, it's there. You just got to open the door and go through it. And she set this up for us, and now I'm here, and it's just, man, I see ways of taking care of my family I thought I'd never see it before in my life. It's a great, great feeling. I'm glad that Waste Management partnered up with Guild, and I got good people like Mr. Terrance, Ms. Glenn, Ms. Samantha, my coach, Ms. Kiani. I got a bunch of y'all. I could name a bunch of them. But, you know, it's wonderful. It's wonderful, and it's humbling. I got confidence, so I use my humble confidence. So
I would definitely say, I mean, UCHealth is a very learning company. They always want you to grow, and partnering with Guild just kind of proved that to me in a way. I mean, within healthcare, I mean, if I didn't want to serve patients anymore, I could go do business. I could go do accounting. I could go do billing. There's so many outlets within healthcare. Don't ever want to leave UCHealth. So if I get sick of the patients, I can go do something else. And so just the support that they had, like they want to see you grow. When I interviewed for my position at UCHealth, by the way, that interview was 2 weeks after I finished the program with Guild. Wow. And I was working within that month in that position. And I've worked for UCHealth for 2 years, and during my interview, I had told them my history. As I said to you guys, that I went through EMT school and I was waiting to take that national license exam, and they were like, okay, well, we want you to do that. And I'm like, okay, I'm interviewing for a job here, you know, and they were like, no, we want you to take that step. We want you to do that growth. Whether that means that you leave us here, that means you still stay within UCHealth. So it's not about just what I feel the support that I've been given from the company is. Whether you have the job or not, they want to help you grow within the company. They're not, the vision that they're showing me is they don't give off the message that I have to leave the company to do better, to be bigger. Like I can grow with inside that company and still be a part of UCHealth while bettering myself, while furthering my education. And I think that is one of the biggest things that it could say for the company.
Yeah, I'd say that the way I perceived Discover when I initially started is I saw it, I was an inbound customer service agent. That's a rough life for anybody who's lived that. That's nonstop. That's being talked to any old way, and you kind of just roll with it. You know, it's not easy on the mind, the heart, and the soul. It takes a toll on you. But I eventually came to see that they live by the values that they preached, and they constantly pushed me and would constantly push saying, you know, apply for these positions, try this, try your hand here. And it was once I started actually doing the education through Guild, I realized, like, you know, they're really living by these values that they keep preaching. They're really pushing for me to take these next steps. They're really pushing for me to succeed. They're emotionally and mentally invested in me getting through this, and it's not just talk. They're really pushing for it. They're doing everything they can to help guide me through these obstacles. So it completely changed my outlook at the way I perceived Discover. And the closer I got to graduation, the more and more I would say, they're going to have to escort me out this place. I'm not leaving. So I love it. I have no plans on, like I said, I'm hitting year 10 now. And again, I thought that was just going to be something to do to get me by until I figured out what I was going to do with these kids that wouldn't stop following me around. And now here I am, taking trips, and they're all excited and proud of me, and they're texting me nonstop about it. So,
love it, love it.
When I first applied at Chipotle Mexican Girl 7 years ago, I was 17 years old. I loved the food. I would go get a burrito every week. And then I read about their benefits. I said, free food, and that was probably their first one. I said, free food? That's it. Sign me up. Don't care the wage. Don't care anything. I was so excited. I studied so hard for my interview at 17 years old, my first real interview. I studied on everything they could possibly ask me. And the manager that I interviewed with asked me something I was not expecting and I did not rehearse for. He said, "What do you do outside of school, outside of work? What are your passions? What are your goals?" And I was like, I didn't study for that. I don't know how to answer this question. And after I told him, I like to dance. I like to, do things outside of work. Yeah, for sure. And he asked me if that would take up any time. And I was like, oh, no, don't worry. Like, I'll be at work. I'll be fine. You can call me whenever you need me. And he said, no, we want you to have passions. We want you to have something outside of work. We don't want this to become your entire life and spend 24/7 here. We care about your personal development and not just professional development. And that already, I was like, okay, maybe I just have a really good boss. Maybe he's just really into his people, and that sounds, that speaks volumes. But later down the road, when I did hear about Guild and I got that introduction, I said, these people are not just talk. This is insane. I thought there were strings attached. I thought I had to do this, that, and the other. I thought I'd have to pay money. I mean, it was a really great process to put me through that. And something that I learned was that this company really values me as a person. This company really values other people, all the people that work for us, because for some people this company can be just a stepping stone, and they're more than okay with that. They're more than okay with getting you to where you want to go. And that was something that, I had an inkling at first when my first boss taught me that. But once I was able to take advantage of Guild, I thought, this is the real deal. They don't have to do this for me. They're already paying me a salary, but they care about me. And that was something that was really shocking, because I didn't feel like other maybe y'all, but I didn't feel like other businesses that are not here today, I didn't feel like they really did that. And so while I was, getting my degree, I don't think I mentioned it, I got my business management degree also from Wilmington University, highly recommend. It was just a great partnership, and everything that I was learning in my business classes, I was doing in the restaurant. So everything worked out very well. Everything complemented one another. And ultimately, all those skills that I learned with real life experience, with the education degree, it got me to where I am today. And I was really in awe that Guild cares and that Chipotle cares.
And y'all is a Southern technical term that means all of you. Thank you for keeping our lexicon straight here. So I'm gonna dip into the heartstrings a little bit here, if y'all are cool with that, and just love to know the growth you've talked about so far, the career mobility you talked about so far. What has that meant to you, like as a human being? What has that meant to you? And Lewis, I can start with you.
Oh, for me, it's been a game changer, honestly, because I kind of understand where Nicholas is coming from. I can't say I had my mom. She went to school. She figured it out. She made it work. She's an art teacher. I pray for her every day because I can't do kids like that. But for me, I continued to go and try, but I never realistically saw myself graduating. I never realistically saw myself doing anything with that. I know kids that they talk about school and their plans after school and what they're going to do with their college education. I had no real plan. I didn't know what you could even do with a college education, let alone get one and actually have a plan with that. And once I started taking these classes and I'm getting closer and closer to graduation, and I'm realizing all the things that I'm accomplishing. I started as a inbound hourly paid customer service agent, and now I'm an IT management specialist with a salary and all sorts of vacation days that as an inbound, entry-level position, that's not real life to really see that kind of thing for me. So it's been a complete game changer for me, to where it gave me confidence in other areas of my life. Like, I never considered being a homeowner. I assumed I'd rent for the rest of my life. Like, that was never something to seriously consider. And now it's to the point where I've purchased a home and I'm tired of that home. I want to sell that home and go buy another home. It's like, and I have that confidence now to pursue that, especially when I first bought the home. I was like, I'm going to have to live here forever. Like, that big number beside how much I have to pay this bank, like, I'm never leaving this home. And now I'm like, nah, I can do a little more. I can add a little bit more to that. So the confidence that it's given me is just insane.
Love it. Love it. And Nicholas, what about for you?
Oh man, the confidence and me being able to see the future. You know, it's overwhelming. It almost brings you to tears, man. Because when you go home and look at your family, and they looking at you to come home to take care of things for them. And when you sit down at that table and you do the work, I'm not a failure. I'm a winner. And hold up. It took a long time to get to where I'm at today. So that's why I fight so hard. I'm not gonna let it pass me. So this opportunity through Guild, waste management, it's life changing, man. I could go on and on and on, even though I'm choking up on words right now. But I could go on, you know, and it's people out there that need me. And this education and this time through Guild and waste management is going to help me take care of those people that need me, man. So I'm not soft because I was a little tearful when it comes to it. It's just that what I felt at the moment. That was just the passion that I got for it. And I applaud these guys up on stage with me because it took a lot. All our stories are the same. We all come from different backgrounds, but I guarantee you, we know how it feels.
So, parting advice. We have a lot of people in this room that care about what we're talking about, believe in what we're talking about here. If there's anything that you could say as far as how they might be able to do more even to help folks to change their lives, to provide more opportunity, what might you say?
Encourage them. Encourage your employees. Tell them to make that step. Tell them, you know, this ain't it right here. I hired you, but I want to see you do more, just like my co-panelists said. Lovely ladies, by the way, lovely gentlemen. They encourage them, give them the hope. My supervisor asks me all the time, how you doing in school? It's not a self-inflicted wound, is it? You know? No, man, it's not. You know, it's all right. I'm actually all right. But encourage them. Talk to them, because you could be their first support team. Some people might not have a support team at home. So the people that say, I don't know if I'm going to do this, they won't do it. But the people that say, okay, my boss told me this, or my coworkers told me this, I'm going to go on and sign up for this. Be encouraging. Talk to your employees. Just don't pay them. Talk to them. Have a barbecue. Sit down. Babysit. Do something. You know? But never take your employees for granted. Never take anyone for granted. That's my advice.
I'd say I could touch on that with the support aspect. I mean, obviously, just by offering the education, that's support, but sometimes that's not enough for people. You know, as I said, they're like, yeah, go take that EMT exam, you know, and Guild offers an MA program. So once I pass that EMT exam, like I said, pass. So I'm going to go on and do my MA too, because it's offered to me. It's an opportunity to take, and I've been encouraged to go that extra mile, whether it takes me out of my current position within the company still or not. Like, they've just been full support behind me. And I mean, I've technically worked with 3 different people throughout this whole process. I worked with UCHealth, Guild, and the program that I went through was through MedCerts. I mean, the amount of emails that I have from people encouraging me, I don't think I've even still read them all, and I finished 4 months ago. And so just the advisors, my supervisors, my coworkers, the coaches, like just the amount of support that was provided, it made it easier to go through school. Made me feel like I could actually do it, and made it 10 times more worth it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The support is really one of the biggest things that, honestly, even when you don't know if your support is being heard, if your support is being accepted. I've got a nice handful of text messages from Guild coaches that I don't respond to because they're messaging me at really bad times when this test just came back and it did not go well. And they're like, how is it going? I say, no, we're not going to talk right now. We're not gonna. But just having that, just knowing that someone's invested, knowing that they're responding and they're checking. I mean, as you've heard with all of us, we've all mentioned, when it came to the motivation, we've all mentioned our company, whoever that specific company may be. That's a big part of it. Knowing that each company has their core values, but as long as you're actively living those and showing that to us, we're not just doing this for ourselves. We feel like we're also doing it for our company because they're giving us that opportunity. It becomes that they're supporting us. We don't want to let them down. We want to show them that we can be as valuable as they believe us to be. So you live those core values, we're going to feel that support. We're going to understand that, and we're going to start following behind you, essentially.
I'm not certain if there are businesses in this room that don't already take advantage of this wonderful benefit and this wonderful partnership with Guild. But if there are any of you here, don't raise your hand because I will come for you. But listen, I just highly encourage those people to look back to your values of your company, look back at your mission, and I guarantee there's something in there that tells you you need to invest in your people. When you invest in your people, the same way when you get a new hire, you have to train that person and set them up for success. That doesn't stop at training. Set your people up for success always. Invest time in them. They will do even better for you. So if not just for the values tied to your company, to your business, and what you stand for, just to be a good person, but whatever. It's just a good investment for your business. You're gonna get that return, but you're also gonna change somebody's life. I think that, I don't know who came up with it at Chipotle, but whoever that person is, I owe them a nice steak dinner because this is just life-changing stuff that they were able to introduce to us and that Guild was able to introduce to us. It's a good investment. Invest in your people. You care for your people. I know you do, So you got to take that leap and trust yourself and trust those people. Sorry, I'm not telling y'all what to do, but anyways, investing in the people is the biggest thing for me.
Love it.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to all of you. And during the time that we haven't spent a lot of time together, but during the time we have spent, it's wonderful meeting folks like you, right? And having gone through the story that I went through, being able to see that people are still doing it, right? As you said last night, you want it, get it, right? I mean, it's that simple. And so just thank you for yourselves, for your families, for us. Thank you.
I think
Appreciate
it comes
it.
from all of us too. Thank you. Because,
Yes.
we wouldn't be here without our companies, but you guys are the ones that put us in these chairs and gave us the opportunity to grow our lives and our careers. So thank you.
Yep. Thank you.